Welcome back, everyone. Well, did you know Saturday is National Donor Day? It's a day to promote organ donation by educating the public about life-saving care. And here to tell us more about it is Dr. John Goss. He's the Medical Director of Transplant Services at Texas Children's Hospital. And on top of that, I got to give a shout out to you and your team. Congratulations to Texas Children's Transplant team for leading the nation in pediatric organ transplants last year. 144 lives saved. That's incredible. Congratulations.
Yes, no, thank you. It's a great achievement for the entire system at the hospital to be able to do it, because transplantation really does involve the entire hospital. Every service in the hospital has to be superior to be able to do the transplants and have the good outcomes. So it's really it's a hospital effort, and it's great to be at an institution that can do it.
It really is, and one of the top institutions in the nation, and we love that because it's right here in our own backyard. But on top of that, not only is it the team, but it's those who have decided to be organ donors themselves, because without that, the team couldn't do its job. So let's talk about organ donation for this weekend, because it's a big day. So can you tell us why it is so important to be an organ donor?
Well, organ donation is the lifeline of transplantation. Obviously, without donors, we can't do the transplants, because as we exist today, we still can't make organs in a petri dish or someplace like that. We can't 3D print them, we can't form them, so we're still required, we still need organ donors to be able to have organ transplantation and to help someone else. So organ donation is something that can be done in a number of different ways. I mean, we have people who can sign up when you do your driver's license renewal. You can check the box. You can sign up for the Texas Registry, which is on the internet. But one of the most important things is that you talk to your family. The family has to know what your wishes are to make sure that these kinds of things can happen if that time comes. And then the fourth way that you can do donation is you can be a living donor, and you can donate an organ to someone as well. So there's multiple ways to be an organ donor, but being the donor is very, very important, because without it, we cannot help these people.
And when it comes to living donors, that means like donating like a kidney or something like that, or a piece of your liver, things like that, right?
Yes, so there's, yes, kidneys, parts of livers. There have been pieces of lungs done in the past, and now most recently is the uterus.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, let's dispel some myths behind organ donating, because I think the biggest thing is, what is the biggest thing you've heard from people? Let me get your opinion. I have an idea, but your opinion on what is the biggest reason why you hear from people on why they do not want to be organ donors? Is it because of fear, or what do you think it could be?
Yeah, I think it's mostly fear. People don't really know the system, don't really understand it. So there is fear of what happens. There's fear of the way the organs are handled. There's fear of where the organs end up going, and different things like that. So I think it's a lot of it is just that people don't understand. There's been, you know, some bad press recently as well that hasn't helped. So it's really important to make sure that we get the facts out for people to really understand how organ donation occurs, how it is handled, and where the organs go and things like that.
Right. And also there are people who are great donors, the potential donors, but there are also some people who may have had medical conditions who may not be the ideal donor. Can you explain that too?
Well, it's absolutely true that some people have certain medical conditions which make them less than the perfect donor, but and anyone should consider being a donor, because even if you can't donate a heart or a liver or something like that, you can still donate cornea, skin, valves from the heart. There's different ways that people can still donate and contribute to taking care of other people.
Right, and I do know that there have been a lot of medical breakthroughs using organs from animals as well, like pigs, for instance, but usually the human donations are always the best, because from human to human is a lot easier than doing something like that, right?
Yes, I mean, absolutely. There's always interest in xenografts or organs from animals, but as we sit today, we still have not been able to overcome the human immune system and allow a animal organ to survive in a human for a prolonged period of time and function well. So at this time point, we really are dependent upon what we would call an allograft, something coming from another human, not a xeno coming from an animal.
Okay, so one more time, I mentioned, of course, when you sign up with your driver's license, you can select being an organ donor, but also you can go to a website as well to do that as well.
Right, there's a website that you can search in Texas and sign up online. And you don't, it's not necessarily like your driver's license or anything else, but you can do that as well. So there's multiple ways to sign up to be an organ donor.
Well, Dr. Goss, I want to thank you so much for being here, for all that you and everyone at Texas Children's does, because you are saving lives each and every day. And thank you so much. I really do appreciate your time.